Today. Uh, John Cantrell, or Jonathan, I should say, is here. And we want to invite you to join us in a conversation. We've been talking for a while about the importance of faith, and we want to just do a brief sketch of our human history and spend some time talking about Abraham. But before we do that, I want you just to enjoy a few moments with one of Sherry's photographs. This is one of my favorite, with the raven keeping an eye on the egg. I am not sure what the raven's motive is, but the mother certainly seems to know where to best protect her egg. So thank you, Sherry, for that opportunity to spend a few moments. So, Jonathan, our topic today, Abraham, the father of faith. We've spent some time in dialogue. If I say to you, Adam has brought sin to all mankind, what would your response be to that?
My response would be that that's the saddest period in this earth's history.
Mm-hmm.
That what was created as perfect has been brought down to the woe that we are experiencing today.
And I think we're of the same mind that we really don't see humanity becoming healthier, kinder, more loving. We really don't see that in our world currently, do we?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, we only see it getting worse and worse. It just seems like that man's inhumanity to man is becoming more open and in your face than I have ever experienced it.
Fascinating. So that brings us then right next in our conversation to Abel.
Yes.
In just a brief sketch for those of you, a reminder that Cain and Abel, the brothers of just outside of the Garden of Eden, we have a story, an unusual story, the first recorded sin in Scripture. So, John, how do you compare Cain and Abel to what we're seeing today?
Well, I think there is a direct comparison that those who are trying their best to live as faithful to God are being persecuted by those who have no concern for God, who have, in fact, are antagonistic toward God, because those who are faithful are a reminder of what they should be.
So it also strikes me interesting, Jonathan, that as we consider the fact that in the story we have two different religions.
Yes.
So here we have Cain, who is bringing his best vegetable as actually an act of worship. And we have Abel, who is bringing his lamb as he learned from his parents. By the way, Cain and Abel both learned the same thing from their parents. Isn't it an unusual story in which we have a conflict between two men who claim to be religious?
Well, it is really a conflict. The issue is that for Abel, he was expressing his faith in the salvation that was to be provided. And Cain was saying, I don't really need that. I'm doing well myself on my own. Thank you.
It's kind of, if I do my best, God's going to make up the rest kind of theology.
Absolutely. Or even more rebellious than that is, I don't really need God. I'm doing just fine.
I can do it my way.
I can do it my way.
Interesting. Yeah, it's sort of an intense story. So in the story, Abel dies for his faith.
Yes.
As we're looking at the first recorded sin, isn't it interesting that this story never changes throughout the entire Bible?
No, it's true. It's repeated over and over again. up to and including our present day.
Yeah, I think probably today more than ever,
Yes.
and this is just an opinion of mine, and I don't expect everyone to agree, but I think we're experiencing a greater conflict even within faith circles than what we've ever experienced as far back as I can remember.
Yes. And it seems, unfortunately, that it is not even limited between a faith and an unfaith, but it is limited, or it is even infiltrated in um, faithful congregations, for instance. There is many times a sense of um, you're judging me because of the way you're living. I'm doing just fine the way that I am.
Sure.
Um, it causes a tension, and I say the tension because then you have one side against the other.
In the illustration of the two different faiths of these two brothers, how is it that a person of faith can rise up and actually murder a person of faith? Hasn't something dramatically changed in the context here of both religion and what faith actually should look like?
Well, I believe so. And I'm not sure that I can put a finger on the cause of it, unless it is the fact that the one who rises up and murders someone else is feeling that he is condemned by the other person.
And I think you've already alluded to that earlier.
Yes.
That by living by faith can make others feel judged.
Yes.
When in fact, biblical faith is the simple affirmative response to God's will for one's life. It's interesting how it can make someone so angry they want to take a life.
Right.
Such a paradox.
It is a paradox. It is like sin itself. It makes no sense whatsoever.
Yeah, you can't make sense out of craziness.
Yes.
So let's go on to Noah, because I think, it's interesting that Noah is like a corporate humanity story of Cain and Abel. Noah is called by God to save humanity. There's going to be a major resetting of humanity.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone is invited to get on the boat.
Yes.
Okay. Noah's called to save anyone who will get on the boat.
Yeah, Noah is an interesting person because he is giving a message of salvation, if you will come, because there's going to be destruction coming. It's a warning and also a message of hope, because if you get on the boat, you're safe.
So faith in the Noah story is saying yes to the message God gave to Noah, I will get on the boat.
Absolutely.
So how did that go for Noah?
Well, it obviously it didn't go really well because only Noah's family had the faith to get on the boat. Out of all of the thousands, perhaps millions of people that heard the message, it was a pretty poor percentage that 8 people were the only ones that chose to get on the boat.
That's a challenging story, isn't it?
It is indeed.
Because what you're saying is that not everybody is interested in being saved.
Well, there's 2 sides to this, because I believe that there were more that were interested, but for whatever reason, one perhaps peer pressure, the other that failed to, how shall I say it, have faith in what Noah was saying, that that was actually going to be true, even though Noah was going to a lot of expense to prove that this was going to happen, because let's face it, a boat that took 120 years to build, that's quite a craft.
And to be able to see it visually, we look back today and say, how could people possibly reject that? But yet, the more things change, to use a cliche,
Yeah,
the more they stay the same.
exactly.
And I'm not sure if we built an ark today, we'd have better success. Maybe I'm pessimistic.
Well, I don't think we would have better success, even though I don't know whether you and Sherry have visited the Ark in Indiana or
Yeah.
not, but it was quite frankly startling to see a model of the craft that was built and realize that Noah is serious here.
Yes.
Are they seeing that we are serious? And I believe that many, if not all the time that we are spreading the message, we are serious. And yet, people many times respond the same way.
Yeah. It's fascinating, isn't it?
It is.
So, a future conversation we'll have to have is the importance of free will
Yes.
can be both a blessing and a curse.
Yes.
And that is in itself interesting.
Oh, yes. And that's kind of a subject all to itself, but it's an important
Yeah.
subject.
I think so. So, Abraham comes next in the story in Genesis. And what is so interesting about Abraham, the historians I've read say that it probably was normal for Abraham, who, and by the way, in Genesis begins the story in Abram, but he lived in a time in which it wasn't unusual for human sacrifice to be taking place.
It's true.
He was living in maybe a deeply pagan culture.
Yes.
And so what happens in his life is really extraordinary because he's going to bring an opportunity for mankind to have an entirely different perspective.
Yes, and Abraham, I'm impressed with Abraham because he is called out of a pagan society that you wonder, why Abraham? Why only Abraham? And why is he a follower of God instead of the many pagan deities that they had there?
It's such a unique story in that sense because as we explore this, we're going to discover that the reason God chose him was because he was willing to say yes.
Yes.
What we don't know is how many people he asked before Abraham.
That's true. That's a good point. And perhaps he did ask many more because I don't believe that God was arbitrarily picking him because he was Abraham, but because he did say yes.
Yeah, I would agree with that. So, as we pause for just a moment, the impact of this man through how God blessed him established these three major cultures. We're familiar with the Jewish culture, okay? We're probably, as Western civilization, we're probably not that familiar with the Arabic culture,
Yeah.
the Middle Eastern culture, which
Yeah.
right now is just in incredible turmoil.
Yes.
And at the same time, we're having this conversation because we are partakers of the Christian culture
Yes.
that Abraham. How could a man bring such an extraordinary contribution to humanity.
Well, and I find that fascinating because I don't see anyone else in history who has had such a profound impact on society to influence three distinct cultures across society.
They touch every single aspect of our life every day.
They do indeed, yes.
Yeah, we would not be who we were, or who we are, excuse me, without those three major cultures
That's right.
unfolding.
That's right. And they make up the majority of the world's population.
Isn't it remarkable that just one man saying yes to God
Yes,
in an extraordinary time
yes.
can radically change the entire face of the earth?
It is astounding. You would not think that statistically one man could do that. But this one man was the right person at the right time.
Yeah.
Um,
It's startling, isn't it?
It is startling. And the more we get into this, we realize that this is not a Superman. He's a man just like you and I.
Yeah. And I'm not sure we'll get into it today, but in the
Yes.
future, we're going to get into the fact that he was just a normal person
Yes,
and that he had real failures
yes,
and real successes.
yes,
And I hope everyone finds that encouraging,
yes,
that God uses real people,
Yes.
not people that walk like a foot above the ground.
yes. The other aspect of this is how, in spite of our apparent inabilities, how one person can have such a wide influence. And that can occur today.
It's absolutely true. There could be people who will listen to this who have no idea
Yes,
the profound impact that they will have on the world around them.
exactly.
And I think if that were included in one of the arguments on behalf of the importance of knowing God,
Yes,
that God is able to do such a thing today,
yes,
I think is remarkable.
yes. You look in modern times, do you suppose that Albert Einstein had any idea of the effect that he would have on society? I mean, we do not understand that truly we are not an island unto ourselves.
If I hear you say that everything as a human being that we are and do has remarkable value
Yes,
to every person around us.
absolutely.
And here we find it in the Bible, which I hope more people want to engage in. We have the evidence of the importance that there isn't anything that isn't of value
Yes,
in a human being.
yes.
And that makes for really a remarkable connection. So I want to go to Hebrews.
Okay.
Okay, we're going to go to Hebrews 11, and we just have a few minutes left in our conversation. It says in Hebrews 11, verse 8, and we're just going to pick up in chapter 11, the faith chapter, and just share some verses with you, and then we'll just kind of discuss them as we go through. It says in verse 8, by faith Abraham, when he was called, obeyed, going out to a place which he was to receive for an inheritance. I want to save that last phrase,
All right.
okay, because I think we're going to chew off too much.
Yes.
Because time is flying here.
Yes.
So the concept of faith, I've always said, is very simple. It's the willingness to say yes to God.
Yes.
So that's that affirmative response, okay?
Yes.
So on that next phrase, when he was called, what does it mean he obeyed?
That it is similar to when we ask our child to go and close the door, he gets up and does it.
Wow.
In other words, he followed through on what God had asked him to do. He didn't say, okay, sure, I'll go, and just sat in his place.
He
Something
acted.
happened. Yes, he
So-
acted.
So obedience is an active response to God
Yes.
in some form
Yes.
that brings you, or in this case Abraham, into harmony with God.
Yes.
So obedience isn't a complicated thing.
No, it is not.
Okay, so he's asked to go to a place he's going to receive for an inheritance. Now, I don't know inheritance laws in the time of Abraham,
No.
but if he's leaving his father and his family and he's going to travel somewhere, and this inheritance is this voice of God telling him, I'm going to show you where your inheritance is. Does that make any sense?
On the surface, it does not. But as you delve into this a little deeper, you realize that an inheritance for people was, at that time, was property
Mm-hmm.
and a place that they could call home.
Right?
And this was the promise that I feel that Abraham was being promised a place where he could call home, where he would have security and happiness, and he could build a family and have peace.
In this strange story, what's beautiful about it would be a place he did not know where it was,
Yes,
that only God knew.
yes, and that's one of the things that makes his faith even more astounding, because God says, well, I will show you when you get there what your inheritance is.
Do you think you'd have been up to that?
I'm not sure I would.
It's a fair question to ask
Yes,
ourselves.
I agree.
It could be a rather interesting conversation.
It really speaks of a relationship that had been going on for some time between God and Abraham, for him to trust him and have faith that he would actually take him where ultimately he wanted to go himself.
I want to get to that last phrase in verse 8. And he went out
Yes.
not knowing where he was going. Now, we've taken family vacations,
Yeah.
and I will tell you that when I backed out of the driveway, I always knew where I was going.
Oh yeah, me too.
If even only to the gas station
Yes.
and wait for directions, right?
Yes.
If you think about this entourage, because it was an entourage, right?
Yes. It was not just Abraham and Sarai and Lot.
No, it was property, possessions, and camels.
Yes.
And I like to phrase it this way, that he backed the camels up out of the driveway at his dad's house,
Yes.
and God didn't say go left or right. He just said,
Go.
go. Now, think about that in the context of obedience.
Oh my.
Just the willingness to go.
Yes.
Okay, let's have a moment here. Let's just think about every person who claims to be Christian. What would happen if corporately God spoke to entire Christianity and said the same thing? Will you go?
Yeah.
And what would happen if all 6 million of us said, hypothetically 6 million,
Yes.
yes.
Where do you want us to go?
No, we just back up out of the driveway knowing no matter which way
Yeah.
we went was the right way.
Oh my. Yeah. Astounding. For my own self, just thinking about it, all of a sudden I have a sense of insecurity.
Totally.
Totally. Yes.
Yes, I agree with you. I'd say I'm going to follow Jonathan.
Yeah.
He's probably going the right
And
way.
I don't know where I'm going, just because I haven't been told yet.
It's a remarkably beautiful story
Oh,
because
indeed.
he went,
Yes.
and it was the right way.
And it was the right way.
So,
Elsewhere in the Bible, he tells us that I will show you the way. There'll be a voice behind you saying, this is the way, walk you in it. And so I believe that that was what was happening to Abraham. That he trusted God and knew God well enough that he could depend that he was not going to be led astray.
So I'll make a confession. I cannot tell you the number of times I said, okay, God, if and if and if, I will.
Yes.
That makes me like cradle roll faith.
Exactly.
Or kindergarten
Yes.
faith. Okay.
Maybe not quite that high even.
Maybe not that high, I would agree. All right. Look at verse 9. By faith he lived as an alien or a stranger in the land of promise, as in a foreign land, dwelling in tents with Isaac and Jacob, following heirs of the same promise. So, what does verse 9 say? He just what?
Well, he was given a promise that that would be his home, but not yet. And so he had to live as an illegal immigrant, if you will.
Thank you. Isn't that interesting?
Yes.
In such a time as this,
Yes.
with such a lively conversation about immigration.
Yes.
Wow. Well, our time is gone.
Yeah.
We just have less than a minute left.
Yeah.
So how did you enjoy the conversation?
It was great.
It went quick.
Hopefully it was mutual.
It was a fun conversation.
Yes.
We almost got started.
Yeah, almost got started. I was afraid it was going to be like that.
Well, I hope we continue this conversation because we are on a journey of a remarkable story that impacts, I think, the faith of every person
Oh, I believe so.
around the planet.
Because ultimately we are going to be asked the same thing now.
Yeah.
In this day and age.
Absolutely. And Sherry, if you want to bring up our last picture, I don't have it on mine. We have like 10 seconds. I just want to thank you, Jonathan, for coming today.
You
I
are
hope
welcome.
everyone has enjoyed it, and I hope you enjoy Sherry's picture. You guys have a great day. Take care now.